try a lot, explore new platforms, join every single social media we have, because sourcing is like experiment. So I would say try and experiment a lot. And if you fail, that's great because you're going to learn from it.
Hi, Renata. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hi, Shay. So I'm Renata. I'm a psychologist and also graduated in human resources management. I've been working with HR for the past 10 years, but been focused in the recruitment for the past 8. Around 5 years ago, I started to jump in a little deeper into the international market. And I started as a sourcer, a global sourcer. So I started recruiting for Latin America, except Brazil, which is funny because I'm Brazilian. But I started to look for other regions in Latin America. Then I jumped into US and also Canada. And afterwards, I was able to manage some positions into Europe, Africa, and also India. And I've been doing this for the past 8 years, but being focused in the international market for the past 5. And this is what I do. I love doing it and finding the best matches for the right positions.
What is the most challenging part of sourcing, and how do you overcome some of those challenges?
There are a lot of challenges in sourcing candidates, but I believe the more challenging one is understanding where you are going to find these candidates. So, for example, if we have an open position for Latin America, that's very wide. So where can I start looking so I can be more proactive, so I can not engage so much time on doing it and be more accurate, So I believe this job market, this job sourcing on where I can find my workforce is the most challenging part of the sourcing.
How do you stay up to date with the latest trends on sourcing and some of the technologies when it comes to it? And what is the most effective for you at the moment?
Well, I'm always tuned on what LinkedIn can bring me, of course, and I try to participate in all webinars I can see. And I follow a lot of companies, high-tech companies, and also startups that are growing to see how they are handling the process, especially now that we have the AI tools and AI helpers. So I believe that's how we can keep up to date, to following the trends and watching webinars and exchange knowledge, benchmarking with other companies and recruiters.
Can you share a success story that you've had placing a candidate and give us some details around what that looked like?
So I had a recent one where we were looking for a senior SAP consultant, and it was a very challenging position because it was for a very important client and it was an on-seat position with a very low rate. And I was the coordinator of the team, the talent acquisition team, and we were struggling for almost 2 months. And I sat down with them and I was like, okay, I'm going to help you and put my hands on it. And let's map everything, not only in the region they are looking for, let's see regions closer, people who are willing to reallocate and things like this. And we were able to find this white fly inside the region, and it was a very successful case because we were almost losing the position. It took almost 3 months to finally extend the offer and onboard the candidate. So that was the most challenging one. And of course, it involved a lot of people, not only the recruiters, also the stakeholders, the managers, and a lot of negotiation on the salary because it was a very low rate. But afterwards, we were successful.
How do you build relationships with passive candidates and maintain them over time?
That's very tricky because since I have a very large networking today in LinkedIn and also some other groups, personal groups, we have to have a very good organization in our calendar. So I take once a week to reply to everyone, to make sure to them that I'm here, I'm not ghosting them or things like this. And every time I a candidating process with me, I always open doors to communication. So I do have a corporate WhatsApps, and I give my number to them. I give my email, and I always say that they can message me and follow up with me. And even I have any updates on the process or new positions, I will also reach out to them. So the main thing is keep organized and make sure you have an open door to communicate with them.
What advice would you give to a sourcer who is new to sourcing and to recruitment?
Try a lot. Explore new platforms, join every single social media we have, Discord, Reddit, LinkedIn, Indeed, any social media, any ATS, anywhere we can post jobs. Go into this, learn how to handle these platforms and try, because sourcing is like experiment, so you have to experiment different approaches, trying test A, test B, trying to understand which location you have a higher response rate, understand your funnel. That's the main important thing for sourcer. It's not only about sending messages through the universe. You have to understand how much effort you have to put into different positions, different seniorities, different clients, different markets. So I would say try and experiment a lot. And if you fail, that's great, because you're going to learn from it and you start to build your own process, So I believe that's the main advice.
A final question from me, which is, how important is personal branding for sourcers or recruiters or people part of the talent acquisition team? And what's the impact of that personal branding can bring?
It's very important because your personal brand gives them safety, security. They need to trust the person who is handling their process. So if you don't have a good brand, or if you don't engage with the people from the network or post jobs and keep yourself alive in the social media, you won't get seen, and who they don't know, they don't trust. So that's very important. If you're not someone who can post like content and things like that's okay. But you have to keep warm and presented in the social medias, LinkedIn, replying to posts, publishing, interacting. You have to be seen. So that's very important.